Have you ever watched the clouds drift across the sky and thought they looked like thoughts, always moving, always changing, forming and dissolving without clinging to anything? They never ask permission to appear, and yet they pass. Our minds are much the same. Thoughts arise, uninvited. They whisper stories, cast shadows, replay old wounds like broken tapes. But unlike the clouds, we often mistake them for ourselves. I'm not enough. I always ruin things. No one truly sees me. These aren't just thoughts. They become identities we wear like skin. But what if I told you those thoughts are not you? There is a space between what you think and what you are, a breath's width of stillness, a moment before belief, and in that sliver of silence, there is freedom. A Zen master once held up a glass and said, "If you believe your thoughts, you will forever be thirsty." The room went quiet. No one understood. But outside, the wind moved through the bamboo. It didn't need to explain. It just moved. This voice inside your head, the one that scolds, doubts, criticizes. It is not your enemy. It is not evil. It is a frightened child wearing the mask of control, a survival echo, a ghost of past conditions. It learned to speak that way to protect you, maybe from rejection, maybe from shame, maybe from the silence of being unseen. But what protected you then may now be what is holding you hostage. Look closely. The harshest voice you hear often sounds like someone else, a parent, a teacher, a crowd that once laughed. We internalized those voices and made them ours. And now they speak from within. We believe them because they're familiar. But familiarity does not equal truth. Close your eyes. Inhale, exhale. Watch the thought arise like a bubble on the surface of water. Don't pop it. Don't judge it. Just let it float. Then let it go. You are not the bubble. You are the ocean. The inner critic thrives in noise. It speaks loudest when you are tired, overwhelmed, disconnected from presence. It loves the dim corridors of overthinking, feeds on comparison and perfectionism. But its power is not in its volume. It is in your identification. When you say, "I am anxious," your being fuses with a fleeting emotion. But when you say, "There is anxiety here," you've created space. A window opens. You become the watcher, the one who sees, and the one who sees is always free. This freedom does not come from fighting the voice. It comes from seeing it with gentle awareness, from asking, "Is this true? Is this helpful? Would I speak to a friend this way?" Most of us are walking through life with a mirror pressed to our face, thinking it's a window. We're not seeing life as it is. We're seeing it through layers of inner judgments, old narratives, distorted echoes. What would happen if you put the mirror down? You don't have to force silence. You only need to return to stillness. When the voice says, "You failed again," don't argue. Breathe. Smile softly. Ask, "Who is the one hearing this voice?" The question is not meant to be answered. It's meant to awaken you. In the quiet beyond thought, there is a presence untouched by story, a sky that holds all clouds without becoming them. That is who you are. You were not born with self-hate. You were not born with shame. These were taught layer by layer, and anything learned can be unlearned. But unlearning is not erasing. It is reseeing, renaming, reclaiming the original silence beneath the noise. There is a Buddhist image. A muddy stream is stirred, and all you see is brown, turbulent water. But leave it alone, and slowly, without effort, the mud settles. Clarity returns. The water was never dirty. It was only disturbed. You are not broken. You are disturbed. And even that disturbance is just another ripple on the surface. It cannot touch the depths of who you truly are. To meet the inner critic with compassion is not weakness. It is the highest form of strength. Compassion does not mean agreeing with the voice. It means understanding its origin, then choosing not to live by it. Your worth is not a question. Your existence is not on trial. Imagine for a moment The next time that voice says, "You're not doing enough," you answer, "Thank you for trying to keep me safe. But I choose peace now." You don't destroy the critic. You transform your relationship with it. In Japanese gardens, the gardener doesn't force nature to obey. They guide it gently, respectfully, honoring what is wild and shaping it with love. Your mind is such a garden. Some weeds have grown wild, not because you are flawed, but because no one taught you how to tend them with kindness. Now you begin with breath, with stillness, with one gentle act of awareness at a time. No sudden enlightenment, no dramatic change, just the slow, steady peeling away of what is not you, thought by thought, layer by layer. And when you feel lost, overwhelmed, drowning in that voice again, return to the breath. Inhale, exhale, not as a task, but as a homecoming. The breath does not judge, it does not demand, it simply is. It welcomes you back without question, just like the sky never punishes the clouds for passing through. There is a peace that cannot be earned. It is already yours. But to see it, you must stop chasing the storm. Still yourself, sit by the river of thought, and just watch. It will all pass, not because you forced it, but because you remembered. You are not your thoughts. You are the space they move through, the silence that holds them, the awareness that remains. Let this knowing bloom slowly, like a lotus rising from the mud. You are not here to fix yourself. You are here to remember yourself. When a bell is struck, the sound is not added from outside, it's awakened from within the bell itself. In the same way, the clarity you seek is not imported. It is stirred from within by the touch of awareness. Sit quietly, feel the weight of your body on the earth. Notice the breath, how it moves without asking, and then watch. Watch what rises in the silence. You'll hear it, the critic, already preparing its list. You're wasting time. You should be doing more. Why can't you be like them? Let it speak. Let it pour its noise into the space. But you do not move. Do not follow. You are the sky, not the storm. A monk once said, "Before I had awareness, I was a puppet of my thoughts. Now, I serve tea to my thoughts like guests. Some I let stay. Most I let pass. What if you did the same? What if the mind wasn't a battlefield, but a tea house, where each thought comes in, bows, and sits quietly until it's ready to leave? No grasping, no pushing, just presence. The inner critic loses power in presence because its power is rooted in time. In the past, you regret. In the future, you fear. It cannot survive in now, and now is where your true self lives. You may ask, but if I don't listen to that voice, how will I grow? Isn't it pushing me to be better? Growth is not punishment. Evolution does not require shame. A flower does not bloom because it is scolded. It blooms because it is nourished. There is a vast difference between discipline and judgment, between awareness and attack. You can guide yourself without harming yourself. You can say, "I want to improve," and still love who you are today. You can strive forward without striking down the self that walks the path. Every time you judge yourself, you carve a wound in a garden that only needs tending. But every time you see yourself clearly, not as good or bad, but simply as is, you offer sunlight to your soul. The bamboo bends in the wind because it does not resist. It knows that surrender is strength. That flexibility is resilience. So too, your mind must learn to bend, not to collapse, but to dance. Rigid self-judgment is like frozen ground. Nothing grows there but soft, warm soil. It invites life. So let your mind be soft. Let your heart be the place where even your mistakes are welcome to rest. You are not weak for having doubt. You are not flawed for having fear. These are the footprints of being human, and yet you are more than human. You are consciousness becoming aware of itself, a mirror that can see the dust and still reflect the light. When you catch yourself spiraling, pause, not to punish, but to return. The breath is always a doorway. Step through it. Feel the inhale, feel the exhale. This moment, simple and alive, is your true home. The inner critic lives elsewhere in memories that bite, in futures that haunt. But here, in the stillness between your ribs, there is nothing to fix, nothing to perform, only being. Let go of the need to prove yourself. The leaf does not justify its color to the branch. The moon does not explain its phases, and yet they are beautiful, just as they are. And so are you. There is a kind of beauty in being unfinished, in being in process, in shedding skins that no longer fit. The caterpillar does not criticize its slowness on the way to becoming a butterfly. It simply moves forward, one moment at a time, trusting the unseen transformation. You too are transforming quietly, gradually, without needing anyone's applause. The world will tell you, be louder, be faster, be tougher. But the way says, be still, be present, be real. And being real means allowing the full range of who you are, not just the polished parts. The inner critic will always prefer perfection, but your soul prefers authenticity. And sometimes authenticity is messy. Sometimes it trembles. Sometimes it weeps. Let it. There is no enlightenment in suppression. There is no freedom in denial. Freedom is in the full acceptance of this moment, cracked edges and all. In Zen, there is a saying, when the mind is clear, the lotus blooms of its own accord. You don't need to push the petals open. You only need to clear the pond. Let this be your practice, not to destroy the voice inside, but to disarm it by seeing it for what it is, a memory, a habit, a survival script, but not you. You are not the voice that says you are unworthy. You are the one who hears it and chooses differently. The more you choose peace, the quieter the voice becomes, not because you've silenced it, but because you've stopped feeding it. Thoughts are like birds. They land, they sing, they leave. You don't have to catch everyone. You don't have to build a nest for every fear that flies through your sky. Just watch, just breathe, and remember, you are not the storm. You are the sky it passes through. Some days, the voice is louder. It doesn't shout, it seeps, like water through cracks, like wind through worn paper doors. You wake, and before your feet even touch the floor, it whispers, you're behind. You're not enough. Everyone else, they've figured it out. But this voice is not truth. It is not wisdom. It is a reflex, an echo of old fears, dressed in new language. And yet, you listen, because you're tired, because the world has rewarded you when you've obeyed that voice. Push harder, smile more, achieve, achieve, achieve. Be small, but shine. Be quiet, but succeed. Be everything except at peace. And so, the voice survives. But have you noticed, the more you try to meet its demands, the more it changes the rules. Today it says, work harder. Tomorrow it says, why are you so burned out? It is not there to guide you, only to keep you chasing a horizon that moves every time you step closer. This is not guidance. This is captivity. So ask yourself now, who benefits from your self-doubt? And more importantly, who suffers when you forget your own enoughness? A bird does not question the worth of its song. It sings because there is sky. It sings because breath is reason enough. So must you begin again, not to prove anything, but because existing is its own sacred act. Breathe now, gently, not to calm yourself, but to remember you are already whole. Even when you are broken, even when you're tired, even when the voice says you are behind, there is no behind. There is only this moment. You are not late for your own life. And what about failure? The critic loves to shout about failure. It makes every misstep a mirror, every crack a verdict. But let me offer you this. The path of awakening is not a straight line. It is a spiral. You will revisit the same lessons, the same wounds, but from a higher place. Each return is not a regression. It's a deepening. So if today feels like a step backward, look again. Perhaps you are simply moving inwards, closer to the center, closer to home. The seed does not panic in darkness. It trusts the season. It knows that growth is silent, slow, sacred. Trust your season. You don't need to shout to be powerful. You don't need to be seen to be worthy. You don't need to do more to become enough. Right now, sitting wherever you are, breathing however you are a miracle still unfolding. And the critic, it is only the wind brushing the surface. It cannot touch the root of who you are. Remember, you were a child once, before the voice, before the shame, before the comparisons. You laughed without checking your reflection. You cried without apologizing. You existed in full color. That child is not gone. They are waiting beneath the layers, beneath the fear, waiting to be held, not fixed, to be heard, not silenced, to be welcomed home. You are not your past. You are not your projections. You are not your pain. You are presence, the kind that watches without judgment, the kind that holds even the critic with compassion, the kind that whispers, "Come sit with me." You don't need to perform here. Let that presence rise in the spaces between thought, in the exhale after effort, in the quiet that follows surrender. You don't need to fight your mind. You need to become still enough to hear what is beneath it. There's a voice under the voice, not loud, not sharp, but steady, ancient, unshakable. It doesn't say, try harder. It says, come back. Come back to yourself. Come back to breath. Come back to the one who's been here all along, watching through your eyes. The one who has always been enough, even when you forgot. The path ahead is not about becoming something new. It is about remembering what you were before the world told you who to be. And that remembering doesn't come through willpower. It comes through surrender. Let go, not as a task, not as a command, but as a falling leaf. Let's go of the branch because it's time. Time to trust the fall. Time to trust the ground will meet you. Time to trust that when the critic grows silent, a deeper truth will rise to take its place. That truth is you, the real you, the one who does not rush, the one who does not perform, the one who does not speak in sharp edges, but the one who simply is, still, present, free. The most powerful act you will ever do is to stop running from yourself, not because you've fixed every flaw, not because every wound is healed, but because you've realized you're not the flaw, nor the wound. You are the one who sees them, the one who holds them, and that is enough. So often we search for freedom as if it lives somewhere far ahead, a place we must earn, arrive at, deserve. But the truth is, freedom is not ahead. It is underneath, underneath the layers of noise, underneath the years of judgment, underneath the identity we built out of fear. And to reach it, we do not need to add anything more. We need only to subtract, to release, to dissolve the illusion. What illusion? The illusion that you are only your productivity, the illusion that your value is based on comparison, the illusion that if you are not constantly improving, you are failing. But nature does not live by such illusions. The mountains are not trying to be taller. The rivers do not rush because they are behind. The moon never hurries to be full. And yet everything unfolds in perfect rhythm because nothing resists what it is. Can you live like that? Not aimless, not passive, but trusting, rooted, clear. Can you walk through your day as the mountain does, silent, grounded, whole? Can you feel the sharp voice rise within and still not react? Not because you are numb, but because you've chosen to be free. True peace is not found in silencing the critic with force. It is found in no longer believing it has authority over you. There is a power in saying, that thought is here. I see it. I know it's old, but I no longer serve it. That's not denial. That's wisdom. And wisdom is quiet. It doesn't need to convince. It simply is, like light through a rice paper wall, like incense smoke curling in the air, soft, undeniable, present. So now, ask yourself gently, What would it feel like to live one day without believing the critic's voice? To walk, eat, speak, rest, without measuring everything against an invisible ruler? What would you do differently? Not because you have something to prove, but because you're finally safe to just be. Let yourself feel that. Let it touch the parts of you that were told love must be earned. Let it touch the parts that shrank themselves just to belong. Let it touch the part of you that looks in the mirror and still doesn't see clearly. And now return to the breath, to the silence between words, to the ground beneath your feet. The critic may still speak. That's okay. Its voice may come like an old wind through an open window, but now you will know it is not your voice. It is not your truth. You are not that wind. You are the room it passes through. And in that room, you can place beauty. You can hang stillness on the walls. You can sit in the corner with a cup of tea and smile softly at all that passes. That is awakening, not dramatic, not loud, just real. To see clearly, to respond with compassion, to live without abandoning yourself, moment by moment. In Zen, they say before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. But what changes is the way you carry yourself through it all. No longer as someone performing for approval, but as someone being fully, openly, honestly. So let this be your way now, not to become something, but to unbecome what you are not. Let this be your vow, quiet, sacred, and real, to return again and again to the space behind the thought, to the breath beneath the noise, to the truth that needs no defense. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not lost. You are here, alive, breathing, aware, and that is more than enough. Let the final words land, not in your mind, but in your being. You are not your thoughts. You are not your fear. You are not your shame. You are the sky. You are the silence. You are the sacred presence that has never left, not for a moment. Return to it, now, always.